Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced on the 22nd of November 2025 that he had signed a decree establishing the composition of Ukraine's delegation for talks aimed at finding a resolution to the ongoing conflict with Russia. The announcement was made in Zelensky's daily address, where he stressed the importance of these upcoming consultations, which will focus on key steps that Ukraine and its international partners must take in order to end the war. The decree establishes a carefully selected group of Ukrainian representatives who will be tasked with representing the country's interests during critical discussions with the United States and Russia. These consultations are set to take place in Switzerland, a neutral location often chosen for international peace talks due to its status as a host for numerous high-profile diplomatic negotiations. Our representatives know how to defend Ukrainian national interests and what is necessary to ensure that Russia does not carry out a third invasion, another blow to Ukraine, President Zelensky stated. His words underscore the gravity of the situation and the urgency behind Ukraine's diplomatic efforts. Zelensky's remarks also signal a clear message of determination, with the president stressing that the Ukrainian delegation would be prepared to negotiate from a position of strength, armed with a clear understanding of the nation's needs and goals in any future discussions. These consultations with the United States are particularly significant, as they are expected to involve high-level talks regarding a peace proposal put forward by the current US President Donald Trump. The proposal, which has sparked considerable debate, aims to broker a deal that would bring an end to the war between Ukraine and Russia. According to a senior Ukrainian official, the upcoming talks will focus on exploring the specifics of this plan and determining whether it could be a viable path to peace. The move to engage in talks with Russia is being closely watched by the international community. While the Ukrainian government has made it clear that it will not accept any proposal that undermines the sovereignty or territorial integrity of Ukraine, there is a recognition that dialogue with Moscow is necessary to seek an eventual end to the war. With Russian forces continuing their aggression against Ukraine and tensions remaining high across the region, both sides have shown a willingness to engage in dialogue, though the path to a lasting peace remains fraught with challenges. The decision to form a delegation for these talks comes after months of escalating violence and military operations between Ukraine and Russia. Despite the efforts of international actors to mediate and push for ceasefire agreements, fighting continues to ravage eastern Ukraine, particularly in contested areas like Donetsk and Luhansk, which have seen some of the heaviest fighting since the war's onset in 2022. The Ukrainian government has repeatedly stated that it will not agree to any peace deal that requires territorial concessions to Russia or that legitimizes the Russian annexation of Crimea, which remains one of the central points of contention in the conflict. Ukraine's determination to pursue peace talks with the United States and Russia comes at a time when the military situation on the ground remains precarious. Russian forces, though facing significant resistance from Ukrainian troops, continue to maintain a strong presence in the east, and there are growing concerns that Russia could escalate its operations further if diplomatic efforts fail. The establishment of the delegation also marks an important shift in Ukraine's approach to the conflict. While the country has primarily relied on international support and military assistance from its Western allies, there is a growing recognition within the government that diplomacy will play a central role in any long-term solution. Zelensky's statement highlights that Ukraine must seek both military and diplomatic avenues in order to secure a future free from further Russian aggression. The decision to include the United States in these talks is particularly noteworthy, as the USA has been one of Ukraine's most significant supporters since the war began. The USA has provided billions of dollars in military aid and has played a key role in coordinating international sanctions against Russia. However, the involvement of President Donald Trump in proposing a potential peace plan has introduced a layer of complexity to the negotiations. Trump, who remains a prominent figure in US politics, has argued that his approach to diplomacy with Russia would be more effective than current strategies, which he has criticized as ineffective. Despite Trump's controversial stance on various international issues, the Ukrainian government has acknowledged the potential importance of engaging with the United States, particularly given the current geopolitical climate. Zelensky has been vocal in his belief that Ukraine needs to maintain strong relationships with its Western partners, but he has also indicated that Ukraine must be open to all potential solutions to end the war, even if they involve engaging with figures such as Trump, who have been seen as less sympathetic to the Ukrainian cause in the past. In the lead-up to the Swiss talks, Ukraine has maintained that it will not compromise on its core principles, particularly its territorial integrity and sovereignty. Zelensky has repeatedly stated that Ukraine will not allow Russia to dictate the terms of peace or to impose any solution that would see Ukraine ceding land or making other significant concessions. Ukraine's red lines are clear. Any peace agreement must respect Ukraine's internationally recognized borders, and the Russian occupation of Crimea must be addressed as part of any final deal. At the same time, Zelensky and his administration have expressed a willingness to discuss a broad range of issues related to the war, including security guarantees, post-war reconstruction, and humanitarian assistance. Ukraine has made it clear that it is seeking a comprehensive solution that addresses both immediate concerns related to the cessation of hostilities, as well as long-term efforts to ensure lasting peace and stability in the region. While details of the delegation's composition have not been fully disclosed, Zelensky has emphasized that the representatives will be experts in the areas of diplomacy, defense, and international law, ensuring that Ukraine's interests are strongly defended throughout the talks. The delegation is expected to include high-ranking officials from Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Defense, and the National Security and Defense Council, as well as other key figures from Ukraine's diplomatic corps. This strategic move is part of Ukraine's broader efforts to navigate the complex diplomatic landscape surrounding the war. Over the past several years, Ukraine has sought to build alliances with Western countries while also engaging in dialogue with Russia and other global powers in an effort to secure its sovereignty and territorial integrity. The outcome of the upcoming consultations with the United States and Russia will likely have a significant impact on the direction of the war and the prospects for peace. In addition to the diplomatic talks with the US, Ukraine's delegation will also likely engage with other key international stakeholders, including the European Union, the United Nations and NATO, all of whom have played important roles in supporting Ukraine during the war. The outcome of these consultations could have far-reaching implications for the future of Ukraine and its relationship with the global community. As the war continues to devastate Ukraine, with thousands of lives lost and widespread destruction across the country, the international community remains hopeful that these talks will provide a pathway to peace. The global attention on Ukraine's efforts to end the conflict is immense, and the outcome of these negotiations could shape the future of the region for years to come. The Ukrainian government has expressed cautious optimism that the talks will yield results, but it has also emphasized that any agreement must be based on respect for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. While the road to peace remains uncertain, Zelensky's decree establishing the delegation marks a significant step toward engaging in dialogue with key global powers, including the United States and Russia, in the search for a lasting resolution to the ongoing war. As of now, the international community continues to monitor the situation closely, awaiting the outcome of the upcoming talks. The future of Ukraine's war with Russia remains unclear, but the ongoing efforts to negotiate a peace agreement show that Ukraine is committed to seeking all possible avenues for ending the conflict. In conclusion, Ukraine's formation of a delegation for talks with the United States and Russia signals a critical step in the country's diplomatic efforts to bring an end to the war. While the exact details of the talks remain uncertain, the involvement of high-level officials and the focus on key issues such as territorial integrity, security, and post-war reconstruction will be crucial in determining the future of the conflict. The coming weeks will be pivotal in shaping the trajectory of the war as both Ukraine and Russia look to engage in dialogue to resolve the ongoing crisis.